So, first things first, what's your name?
My name is Dionte Prewitt.
Dionte Prewitt.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so how did you and Will come to meet each other?
All right. So, Will and I met back in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, back in 1993. I was fresh out of high school, 18 years old, freshman in college. He was just finished playing basketball up there. He was a star player up there, so I met him on the basketball court. And we weren't good friends then, but we were associates. We knew each other, so that's how we started our relationship.
And what was Will like then?
Back then, he's pretty much the same way he is now. He was soft-spoken, humble guy, but you could tell that he had a certain aura about him that just showed strength. So he's just the same kind of guy that he was, just a lot younger, a lot better looking.
Nice. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Racine, Wisconsin. Yes, sir.
And do you want to, what was it like growing up in Racine?
Well, for me, it was fun, man. I didn't grow up with a father, but I had the benefit of having my grandfather around. So he got me into sports early, second grade, and that's what I did for most of my youth. I played football and basketball almost year round, and like we do have mentoring positives here. We use sports as the hook to get to the boys. I think that's what made me the man I am. Just coming up through sports and learning life lessons through the game, through my coaches and mentors. So.
And how did that transition into college? Like, what made you want to go to school?
Okay. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't have my dad in the household, but he was around at a distance, and he always told me from kindergarten that I was going to go to college. So I knew that already, that I was going to go to college. I didn't know in what capacity I would do it in, but as far as my background in sports and having great mentors, great father figures in my life that helped me and helped my teammates, I always knew that I wanted to work in the community, though. I didn't know what capacity, but I always knew when I was done with school that whatever I learned, knowledge I gained, that I would always take back to some community that kind of like the community that I grew up in, So,
what were the first? So, how did you first start to transition into that community work then? Where did you first?
Well, you got to go back to I worked at something called the Chili Feed up in Eau Claire. So our advisor up there, his name was Jim Vance. He passed away, rest in peace. But he was a great man, and he had us, the students that were going there that were already a couple year students. We were part of this Chili Feed program. So it was just where youth from Milwaukee and other inner cities in the state here will come and visit Eau Claire for a weekend, and we were like the mentors there for them. So that was the first experience I had dealing with youth. I was still young, 20 years old or whatever, but just that whole idea of reaching back and helping somebody get to where you are, that was my first taste. And then after I graduated, well, actually in the midst of that, I did some coaching and stuff while I was still in college. And then after I graduated, I worked at the Eau Claire Academy with Will also. So that's a residential treatment facility.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
More of the mystery. And what did you graduate with a degree in?
My degree is in sociology, and my minor was a topical minor, they call it, and it was in child development. So it's like 3 or 4 different disciplines, and you create your 12 credits, and then so it's kind of like a creative, original kind of like minor. So it was pretty cool.
And so from school and graduation, where did you move after that?
So I stayed in Eau Claire for 2 years after that, and I maintained that job at the Eau Claire Academy. And then I was lucky enough to find out about a job in Rockford, Illinois. It was education director at the Boys and Girls Club down there, one of the sites. And I went and applied for that job, and I got that job. So I went there 2000. I was in Rockford, Illinois, doing that position. So I did that position for 4 years, and then I was got promoted to unit director. So then I ran my own unit up there at a new site. It was inside of a church, So we collaborated with the church, but we had an after-school program there, and started from scratch, built it up. And I did that for 3.5 years before I moved here with Will and joined Mentoring Positives.
Did he give you a call?
Oh yeah. We had this plan, a possible plan back in like when we were roommates, like in '99. We were roommates for 1.5 years. So many nights we stayed up talking about if we had a chance to connect with each other on, you know, some business or, you know, our aspirations of giving back to the community, then we would do it.
Did you know that, when in those conversations initially, did you know that sports were going to play a role, and that like, were those the beginnings of Mentoring Positives, or was that something that came after?
That came after. We didn't, at that point when we were just talking as roommates, we didn't know what capacity it would be in. But it's just a beautiful thing that we both love sports, and it worked out that way, but we didn't know exactly then until Will came and got going here, and then we kind of just knew.
So when you came up here and started speaking with Will, how do you decide on what subjects to cover with it, like, and off the court work, I guess I would say,
okay.
With the young man?
Man, we just we always wanted to make the boys understand that it's good to love basketball, but you know, our program is bigger than basketball. It's basketball is the hook. That's why Will's one of his mottos, the hook is the key. So we know that's the key to get him in the gym, but we wanted the boys to know that we're going to be talking about all kind of issues that are pertinent and relative to them that can help them learn and grow in life. So Will and I just several nights just sat together and brought a curriculum together about things that we thought would be good for the boys to learn. So and that runs the gamut from growing up without a father in the home. That's a major thing that we always touch on every year. Conflict resolution, because when we first got here, believe it or not, we weren't even liked by some of the kids, and a lot of the kids got into a lot of fights too. So we thought that would be a good piece to get conflict resolution in there. Relationships is another big thing that we talk about. Not only your nuclear relationship with your mother and your sisters and brothers, but just relationship with other people that may not be related to you, and how important that is to build relationships with neighbors and things of that nature. So that's another topic we talked about. And just another one that's probably pretty important, obviously, is education. So we always talk about, you know, what the kids need to be doing in school, and help them finding resources and different other people that they can use to help them in school. So that's the gist of it. Yes, sir.
Wow. I've talked to a number of the different, I guess I would say graduates, but not graduates, because they're still involved.
Okay.
And to a T, every single one of them has said, you know, the work off the court translated onto the court and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do you see that playing out yourself as well as one of the mentors? Do you see that?
I can see that. I can see more so off the court, and like, you know, some of the kids they I don't want to give them a bad rap, but they can play the game where they can look you in the eye and can kind of like they're listening but not listening, you know. But a good chunk of our boys were able to take the information that we give them and implement it out, and that was the whole thing. We wanted to influence their behaviors when we weren't around them. You know what I'm saying? Because when we're there, it's, you know, pretty cool. They're gonna do what we ask, but you know, a lot of problems come when you're out in the community and you have to put what you learned in use. So I think I see it more so off the court, but I could definitely see on the court a little bit as far as just, you know, chemistry with each other, sharing the ball, you know, things of that nature of not just being a team player and understanding your role. So I can see that, but more so definitely off the court, I can see that our guys that are been in the program the longest definitely have used the knowledge that they gained and implemented it. So it's good.
Excellent. As your curriculum and work with Will has evolved, what are some of the things that you'd like to highlight, like the things that really stand out to you, or things you'd like to do that maybe not have gotten a chance to do yet?
Okay.
But I mean, like, not that they're not available, but like you see, your next great ideas.
Yeah. Well, we're not big in reinventing the wheel, man. So I think that Will and I really, we have this side of town, east side, this Darbo area that we well known over here, and this program is thriving over here. And what we would like to see, honestly, is for this program to be duplicated on other sides of the town, you know, south side, west side, north side, you know, if we can. Because we know it's a valuable program, and I know people over here know, but maybe not the people on the south side or the west side know how important program this could be if the kids buy in and parents buy into the program. So I think that's one major thing. And also, as you know, with sustainability and things of that nature, Will is really big on getting the kids to learn how to grow their own food. You know, it's a food desert over here. So, you know, getting in that aspect, learning about the different fruits and vegetables and growing them yourself, and then also building a business and being young entrepreneurs too. You know, so we want to, Will and I always had those aspirations to be entrepreneurs. We've been in so many different little startup businesses, you know, so we want to bring that to the kids too, that it's good to work for somebody, but it could be better to work for yourself too. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing I think to see us what we're trying to work on in the future.
You and Will are both big and heavily involved in the resilience of this community, like some of the social support network that you've developed. And do you see a lot of the graduates becoming a part of this community as well, and being some of that, at least maybe not just in Darbo, but also within the broader Madison?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a few gentlemen probably that you've interviewed already that's been here a long time and that really have grown to know and to get to know and form great relationships with Will and I. And those gentlemen, man, one of them just got a job with UW Extension. He went to school, went to college for a couple years, came out, got that good job. So definitely, you know, that example. And then we got another gentleman that's few gentlemen that are all working. They're doing full-time jobs, you know. They got their own place, you know. So they're young men, 21, 22. You know, we met them when they were like 14. You know what I'm saying? So just to see those guys be successful in that essence and being visual to the community too, to other people that's younger than them. You know, they were part of this program. Maybe they had some rocky starts, but they were able to form a relationship with somebody that was able to help them. They took the knowledge, and just to see that transformation is a beautiful thing. And also for what we're trying to do, because we're still going to have kids coming up through the ranks, so they can be around. They always come back to our program and offer any kind of assistance. So it's not like they use the program and then they're gone. They come back to give back to the mental and positive tissue. I think that's a great thing, man.
So, and how many? Let's see. You don't have to date yourself, but this is more to the point of like current challenges and maybe getting at some of what your experiences have been like here in Wisconsin. So the racial equity report came out, and it turned a lot of heads, and then there's been a lot of others stats that have come out around like how we're failing our people of color within, as a community within Dane County specifically.
Yes.
But within Wisconsin and your experience, what are some of the things, not just mentoring positives, but like, what are some of the things? What are some of your experiences? I guess you don't have to go into detail at all, but like, what would you like to see change, and how would you like to see change along those lines?
Okay. I just think. How can I say this? Because if I can go into a little bit of my background, just to kind of bring some light to it. I was lucky enough to be able to go to a Catholic school, a private school, when I was in first grade all the way through 7th grade. And they had a very good curriculum, very good teachers, you know, strict education. But I think, you know, related to a lot of my peers, they didn't have that. So when I wasn't able to pay for that school after 7th grade. So after I went to public school, I could definitely see that foundation that I had was much stronger than a lot of my peers had, and it helped me academically. I wasn't like a straight A student or anything, but I was able to navigate the public school system a lot easier from having that background in that private school system. So I think if, you know, it's this big education, like we were talking about, it's just so big, an achievement gap that's going on between African Americans and everybody else is just so huge. I think if we can, I wouldn't say privatize schools, but just learn from the curriculum and the structure that they had and bring that to public schools, I think that would help a lot of youth a lot better, man, because You know how reading levels are. If they say this, one of the statistics on fourth grade reading levels, if boys aren't reading by that time, then they'll be a spot for them in prison. You know, so I think if we can get a harder structure and a more emphasis on education younger, I think it'd just be a lot easier. And that's, you know, that's not only Wisconsin, that's everywhere, because it's, you know, it's reflected everywhere. We just got the brunt of it here, you know. So I think that's major, man. And also I think just unfortunately a lot of young African American males grow up without a father, man. So Will and I recognize that. So, you know, a person that could be sort of a stand-in for a father is a mentor. So we always tell our boys, you don't have to, you know, if you don't relate to us in a certain way that you relate to another young man or somebody that's doing positive, somebody that you look up to, then link up with them. So I think we just need more mentors and more men like Will and I to be able to try to connect with these young guys and motivate them to do better out here, man, because, you know, their dads aren't around, a lot of them. So, and bless the hearts of the mothers that are there. You know, they do an excellent job. But, you know, the males need that male treatment too, and that male education as far as how to navigate the world out here. So I think those two things would be really, really decent if we can focus on those things.
Now, you spoke a little bit about building relationships and how to treat peers and also mentors.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are also taking some initiative with the police department here in Madison. Do you want to speak a little bit about that relationship and also and possibly like how you mentor the youth in regards to power relationships?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we big on respect, man. Will and I, man. You know, respect is the ability to cooperate with somebody or appreciate somebody. That's how we teach them. You know, so if you quote unquote don't like somebody, but they're leading a program or they're in an authority position, we ask our boys, just cooperate, man. That's a sign of respect. You don't have to like them. The appreciation may come later down the line. You know, so saying that, we've always had a good relationship with the neighborhood officers here in Darbo, all the way back, you know, since, man, mid-2000s. We've known all of them, they've known us, and we always make it a point to get to know those, have them come speak to the group, relax with the boys, you know. But you know, in that aspect, we try to get the boys to get that stigma out of their minds that all police are bad, and don't be all nervous around them, and don't get defensive right away, you know. But so we try to help that relationship grow with all of the officers. And last week, we were able to go to a program where we was able to sit in front of 5 police officers, and we brought a few of our boys, and they were able to ask questions and everything. And I just think those kind of forums are great because you can get things in the open, you can be honest, and you can kind of figure out what your place is as far as in those power relationships. You know, they got to do a job, but at the same time, we ask for respect, and we show respect, we'll get respect. So I think that's major as far as police contact. And with all of the stuff going on nationally, man, we just want to keep the boys, you know, we just want to keep the boys aware of things. You know, we don't want to harbor too much on things, but we want to make them aware of things, and so they can just be equipped with that knowledge. So when they go out, they understand that maybe they need to act a certain way so they can protect themselves, and also show other people, you know, that may not know, you know, how they should be acting out here. So.
Are there, now beyond yourselves and Will and some of the other community leaders that you engage the youth with, are there historical figures that you guys reference in readings or like within music or or athletes or whatever? Like, do you bring in a lot of that, or is it just their own conversations and experiences? Do they bring those?
Yeah, we definitely do that. I think it's because Will, he's kind enough to let me kind of be creative with the curriculum. So he lets me kind of do my own thing. So we all love hip hop. You know, we're older, but we grew up on it too. So we like to use that with the boys because obviously that's another hook, something we can relate to, something they love, something we love. But so we use that, man. And one person that we always talk about is Tupac. We always talk about Tupac. Every year is a part of our curriculum. And you know, in broader society, he may get a bad rap, But if you get to know his background, you understand that he was really like a social hero. You know what I'm saying? Like he spoke out on a lot of issues at a young age, and you know he got caught up in some negativity. But we also that's a way that we tell the boys that everybody's human. You know, he's a human just like everybody else. He made mistakes, but his core values and his message was pretty much positive at the core. So we use that and try to relate it to the kids and have them listen to his music and listen to what he's saying, and hopefully that can motivate them.
He was an all-around artist too. I mean, he's an actor.
Yes.
Did he go to Juilliard?
Yeah. No, he went to Baltimore School of the Arts or
Right.
something like that. But
Amazing.
that's what. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we used that, and then last year I remember talking about like, you know, the basic Jackie Robinson. You know, Earl Lloyd was the first black man to play in the NBA. You know, he wasn't the first to sign a contract, but he was the first one to actually step on the court. So you know, we use those kind of historical figures, just let the boys know about that they can do anything they want, man, and they can be anything they want. It may be hard, but those guys put their life on the line back then. You know what I'm saying? The way it was. So, and now it's not. They've done that for us. So now it's just like you're standing on their shoulders to go ahead and pretty much be whatever you can be, man, and be brave about the situation. So just giving them that sense of that the power that those guys had and that they showed to the world, that we all have that same thing. We try to make them understand that they have creativity and uniqueness about themselves that they can give to the world too. So.
What do you think the relationships are, and like how important are the relationships between business and community work? Like, because a lot of the young gentlemen that I interviewed, coming up with their own business designs, also engaged in the community, have gone through school. Like, how important is that relationship, like to the work that you do? Like, I guess in like developing that sort of mindset. I don't know if that's a clear question or not.
I'm gonna try to answer. I think I know where you're going with it. I think they should be hand in hand. I don't think they are right now. But I think as far as this program, we are educating the boys on the fact that it could be, and that's what we're working on as far as with off the block salsa, and Will's trying to get a food truck to be able to come through here, and the residents can use that too. So you're in the community, it's your community, right? So we tell the boys, this is your community, man. We can change it from the ground up. So why not? I mean, it's always good to have outside resources and people that have money to fund it and do that. But once you have that, why not use that to form your own thing and have your own community, your own business, and all interconnected, you know? And then, I mean, that's pretty great right there. You know what I'm saying? And then you're kind of self-sustainable, you know, and being able to do your thing. So I think they do go hand in hand. And I think like the examples we talked about earlier, the examples of the brother in Milwaukee doing it, I think when we use those examples and we get here, I think it would be a great thing, man. I really do. So hopefully we can get that going.
Do you, what, and I guess second to last question.
Okay.
What are the changes that you've seen? How long have you been working here now?
I've been working with Will for 7 years. Yes, sir.
And what are the transitions you've seen within the neighborhood in Darville in general? And I guess you've talked about the kids' transitions, but like, what's your read of the community and how it's changed or evolved? And what are some of the challenges, but some of the successes, I guess?
Okay. Well, when I started coming here back 7 years ago, the community was a lot rougher back then. It was a lot more abrasive, man. You had people coming around, you know, just being very disrespectful, smoking outside the building, bringing materials in the building, you know. So it was a lot of negativity, man. And not saying that Will and I solely changed it, but it was pretty bad. It was you know, a lot of kids, 4th and 5th grade, cursing like sailors, you know, just so disrespectful. Parents out doing adult activities in front of the kids in broad daylight. You know, it was a lot of that going on around here. And the culture, even at the center, was a little bit I don't know how to put it, but it wasn't like it is now. It was more just a drop in. You know, it wasn't really program of enrichment. You know, things of that nature. So it was more just like a place you could come and like just mingle, but it wasn't trying to peel layers back and try to get to understand and know the kid and help them out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely was a challenge back then, and I think we've made a dent in that to make it more positive as far as what we offer here and just our outreach out there. You know, a lot of people know us. Like I bring new kids from the school that I work at, and they're like, man, you know everybody over here. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's good when I hear that, because then that means, you know, kids, we're making an impact out here. So I think that's definitely a success. And just some more challenges is, you know, parental involvement, I think, is very big. Now, we have some great parents out here doing their thing, you know, supporting us. But if we can get even more people on board, I think it'd just be great. You know, just power in numbers and people vouching for what we do, and we're able to speak for what they've done, and we can just work with each other, man, and help these kids, man, because that's what it's all about. So I think that's the major thing, the challenge is getting more parents and community involved, and not with just this program, with Worthington Park Neighborhood Association, with the Salvation Army, just, you know, just in general, the food program, just everybody getting to understand that we're trying to change it, and we need everybody, because it's not, you know, Will and I can't do it, and Salvation Army can't do it, Goodman can't do it by himself, so we all got to kind of come together, you know.
Collaborative
So,
effort.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you, two more questions.
Okay.
Sorry,
It's all right.
I know I was supposed to be two more questions. Let's see here. How has working with this program changed you?
Man, it's changed me a lot. It's changed me a lot, man. Like I said, back when we hatched the idea of working together, I didn't know what capacity it was going to be, but I just thought, when I heard Will explain what he was doing up here when I was back in Rockford, I just thought it was such a great program. I just thought it was so unique. You know, you hear mentoring programs all around. You know what I'm saying? Everybody mentors, you know, but just for it to be based around a sport, but it's not just an open gym. You know, it's definitely not an open gym. You know, just that whole uniqueness about being able to be a front of a boys, have an audience of young men that grew up like us but may not have had the support that we had coming up, and we're able to fill that need that they have, be in front of them, and to actually influence their behaviors, man. I just think that's just such a great thing, and it's really helped me just learn about my capabilities, you know what I'm saying? Because usually I worked with younger kids, elementary age, you know, these are high school boys, you know, and a lot of them are tough kids when you first meet them, but you know, once you get to know them, they're good guys. You know what I'm saying? They're not the quote unquote stereotype that you hear a lot. You know, they're just good guys trying to find their way in the world, man. So I think that just being able to give to them, man, it's helped me tremendously, man. And just as far as just my mission, you know, like I told you, I knew I wanted to work in the community and give back in some way, but being able to do it through sports, helping people that's like me, that may have went through the same problems as me, you can't beat that. So I love that, man.
Is there any special congratulations or message that you want to give to Mentoring Positives at the 10-year anniversary?
Definitely, man. To MP, I just want to thank you, man. I just want to thank Will and Becky for being strong in the community for all of these years, 10 years, really being a force in Madison. I really want to thank y'all and having me be a part of it, and just don't stop, man. I know it's been rough times here and there, but you guys are very, very strong. We've been able to persevere, so let's do another 10 years and just change lives, man. Yes, sir.
One more time for the camera, your full name?
Dionte Prewitt. Peace.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. That was good, right?
Yeah.